I'm Tina Tchen. I am formerly Chief of Staff to First Lady Michelle Obama, and I was also the Executive Director of the White House Council on Women and Girls for President Obama. Gender equality, I think, is important for a whole range of reasons. The first is just the equal justice aspect, obviously, that women are entitled to the same rights, the same opportunities as men are. No one should be held back because of being a woman by any other circumstance of their birth. But I will also say that one of the things we concentrated on during my time at the Obama White House was not only the equal justice aspect, but also the benefit to society as a whole, especially economically. Remember, we took office at a time of economic recession. And one of the keys we thought to also growing our economy and growing for the future was empowering more women, bringing more women into the workforce, empowering more women entrepreneurs. We know Christine Lagarde has said that the U.S. economy is held back because we have fewer women in the workforce, and if we increased it, we could grow our GDP by as much as 5%. We also know on the positive side that the increase over the last 4 decades of women in the U.S. workforce has contributed over $3 trillion, trillion with a T, dollars to our economy. So expanding that talent pool, expanding the workforce, and making lives better for women and their families is critically important. So one of our final initiatives with Mrs. Obama was something we called Let Girls Learn, and both the President and the First Lady launched it to make sure that adolescent girls around the world are able to complete their secondary education. There are right now 98 million adolescent girls around the world that are not in school. They're not in school for a whole range of reasons, like insufficient bathroom facilities or not enough money in the home to pay for school fees. But they're really not in school because young women are subjected to the same prejudices around the empowerment of women that I think that women in the West are as well. On the other side, though, we know that educating adolescent girls is probably as close to the golden key as we have to solving some of the world's biggest problems like global health and global poverty and even peace and security, because we know that if you educate a woman and you give her the ability to help support her family, she will put 90% of her earnings back into her family, that she will marry later in life, that her children will have a higher rate of surviving past birth, that the economy not only of her family but her entire community and subsequently her entire country will go up, and that there's increased peace and security. I often say when I talk about this issue that there's a reason why the Taliban went after a young schoolgirl on a school bus in Pakistan, and why Boko Haram kidnapped girls who were in school, because they know that the fastest way to disrupt a community's peace and security is to keep its young women uneducated and to make them afraid to go to school, make their parents afraid to send them to school. Because educating women really becomes the linchpin to so many of those issues, and that's why I care passionately about it. It's why the President, Mrs. Obama, made it one of our final real pushes across the globe to educate adolescent girls. There's an African proverb I learned when we were doing this work that says, educating a girl is like watering your neighbor's garden, because it's not worth it to your family because she's going to go off and be in somebody else's family. And it's that kind of thinking that devalues girls to the ultimate detriment, actually, of those families and communities. And hopefully we can make people see that. And I think we do. When we talk to fathers about it, you can see them start to realize possibilities for their daughters that they couldn't have imagined before. Sometimes it's because people never saw a different vision, so they actually don't know what's possible. And one of the exciting things I think that we can do now is show them those possibilities and then empower people to act on them.